Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, classic non-classics. This is episode number 1914 and Doubleshot number 1814. Now, basically, this is the start of a string of episodes where I'm covering characters who were created by Jack the King Kirby. Why? I gotta love Kirby, that's why. First up is a definite characters created by Jack Kirby, the Fantastic Four. This is Fantastic Four, Volume 10, Reckoning War, Part 1. Yes, containing issues of Fantastic Four, Volume 6, 40 to 42, along with Fantastic Four, Reckoning War Alpha, and Reckoning War, Trial of the Watcher. All written here by Dan Slott. Yeah. Now, of course, Dan writes everything. Now, here are your artists for these issues. This is quite interesting. Now, the Reckoning War Alpha 1 to this by Carlos Paccio and Rafael Fernandez and Carlos Maggio. Yeah, Rachel Schott doing issues 40 and 41 and 42. Interesting. The Trial of the Watch, the artwork and cover is by Javier Rodriguez. Yes. Now, basically, according to the plot thread that happens in the Alpha one shot, this is something apparently Dan Slott has been planning since 2005 with an issue of She-Hulk, which was the 100th issue of the series, where we have this. We start out with basically Nick Fury coming back from a mission for the Watcher because he's a herald of the Watcher now, and then of course we have a group of people known as the Reckoning destroying Earth's moon. Yes. I'm like, that's a very interesting idea. That's a very original idea for you, Dan Slott. Yes. And by the way, it's in this very storyline. Here's the thing. Nick Fury, according to the Marvel superheroes, has been dead at this point for 8 years. Why the heck that basically Marvel waited this long to have Nick Fury interacting with the Marvel superheroes? First time his original sin. Of course, the reference original sin here, too. So, and the Watch, of course, is taken by his own people. And they showed like an alternate take in here for the Trial of the Watcher one-shot, where it's basically like, what if things happen differently for what happened in the Galactic trilogy, where, yeah, it looks like that the Fantastic Four genetic-wise was genetically like really altered, looked really bad, and they barely lost their lives. All because the Watcher didn't show up at all. Yeah. Though, fun fact, a lot of people tend to think the Watcher first showed up during the Galactic trilogy. That's actually not the case. The first time that the Watcher ever showed up in a comic book was in Fantastic Four number 13. The Galactic trilogy was the first time he interacted with anybody, but that was technically his first appearance. So he's put on trial. And of course, his technology is being dropped all over the freaking planet. You have Spider-Man saving an old lady who normally would hit with her bag because her groceries were damaged. But she's like, nah, give him a peck on the cheek. Like, wow, this is really the end of the world. And then you have basically Nick Fury explain everything. Now, here's the thing. Prior to the story, who is Nick Fury interact? Which series bothered to remember Nick Fury on the moon? We have Silver Surfer, which Dan Slott wrote that one. He brought up in that book. This is also brought up in Mark Waid's Black Widow book, where you have Winter Soldier and Black Widow go to the moon and they run into Nick Fury, but they don't bother to tell anybody about it. And also, Unworthy Thor, done by Jason Aaron. Those are the only 3 series that bothered to remember that Nick Fury is on the moon. For 8 frickin' years. Basically, he's been stuck up there. And I don't know if there was an edict at Marvel, or apparently no writer is having any character go to the frickin' moon. I'm like, 8 years. That's how long it's been since Original Sin came out. I remember it came out. I loved the story. But why the heck did nobody bother to have a story in any frickin' series aside from Silver Surfer, Black Widow, and Unworthy Thor to bother to have anybody go to the frickin' moon to check on what the heck, like, if Nick Fury's really dead? Yeah, they claim he was dead for 8 frickin' years. And by the way, Nick Fury writes off, well, doesn't really explain the whole thing. Like, he does bring up, oh yeah, the Watcher's back, but he's freaking blind. Well, actually, he just lost one eye. Yeah, if you're curious what the heck happened to the other eye, well, read Avengers 50. Well, the current volume is issue 50, where the orb is finally killed off. Jason Aaron created him, so of course they killed him off. And they took basically the eye from him, and apparently it was kind of dumped in I think it was dumped in the North Atlantic. That was last I saw of it. Why the heck basically Jason Aaron had to do that with a Watcher's eye, I have no freaking idea. Or why the heck he said to kill off the orb, I have no idea either. So, he gets hands the thing was supposed to be for the Watcher. Reed Richards basically used it because he's a genius. So, he tells everybody to do various things to basically go over the timeline. Tell Cap to give a shield to Vance Asterisk, a.k.a. Justice, a character who has not really done anything since the Champions book. We have She-Hulk and Jack of Hearts. Yes, Jack of Hearts. Like, thank you, Dan Slott, for referencing basically the She-Hulk book publishing right now, which, once again, revived the Jack of Hearts, despite the fact he already brought back in Zombie Supreme. And, yeah, really cool stuff here. And you can tell Dan Slott's basically doing, you can say he's doing fanboying stuff here. The whole thing of Vance Asterisk having Captain America's shield, that is a nod to the Arnold Drake Guardians of the Galaxy. Because that one had it too. Yep. So, they try to formulate a plan to deal with the whole crushing moon thing. So, before the whole this, Reed just said, X-Men, Avengers Assemble, Fantastic Four, deal with all these freaking rocks. So basically, they go to space and they try and think it's the Badoon responsible for this. But according to Nick Fury, nope, the Badoon is not responsible for destroying the moon. It was an organization known as the Reckoning, which was made from the original Sin of the Watchers. That's what's explained in this book here. So, according to the Watcher, and of course his father, yes, he is father first time, where he actually agrees with Uatu, despite the fact telling him, nope, I don't agree with you, you're responsible for this. And he's like, yeah, he's telling the truth. And then you have the book end with Nick Fury said, well, time for me to move in. And that's the book for you. This book is so fun. I love this. I mean, it has the essence that I loved about Original Sin. The mystery involved in the Reckoning. And, well, I shall also point something out about this storyline. This actually is the final story arc of Dan Slott's run for Fantastic Four. Yeah, because he leaves with issue 46. The book just came out this month. I give this book a 10 out of 10. It's really good. Also, in this book, they deal with, well, they ask basically the whole thing with Johnny Storm deal with this whole Eternal Flame stuff. He says, okay, I know I fixed it, but not just yet. We deal with the Reckoning first. Then we can deal with that. So, at least Slott remembered that plot thread. Yes. It almost seems like basically, could you probably say Dan Slott's building this up in the main book itself? Not really, per se. You could say he probably could, maybe in the background. But he's probably wanted to do this since 2005. For 17 years, he went into the storyline, and now he has. But he's left the book recently. Actually, his final issue just came out just this past month. Just this month, anyways, yes. So next up, we have Ultimate X-Men by Nick Spencer, Book 2. This actually is the last one to talk about when it comes to Ultimate X-Men by Nick Spencer. Collecting issues 7 to 12 of Ultimate X-Men. Yep. Now, in this book, it's a heavy focus on Storm in these issues, yes. Where she reunites with Colossus. And there's this really weird scene where after she hugs him, apparently she ended up in bed with him. Now, I should point out, though, the Ultimate version of Colossus is gay. Is basically Nick Spencer implying that Storm had sex with Colossus? I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's not really... It's implied they may have, but it's not really dealt with at all. We have stuff basically related to Karen Grant's group, a.k.a. Jean Grey. And there's a little bit of build-up here to the events of the Divided We Fall, United We Stand storyline, which I love that storyline. It is really freaking good. It basically has a good storyline, And even the main story itself is basically detailed in the pages of Ultimate Comics Ultimates. The other two books, Ultimate Comics X-Men and Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, is a good companion piece. It expands on the story. It does it really well. And you might think it doesn't expand to do the whole story. I think it just does Ultimate Comics Ultimates and this book here. But of course, Bendis obviously does Spider-Man because, well, it's Bendis. We also have something here with apparently look like we see return of the Scarlet Witch, despite the actually died in Ultimates 3. We also see a return of Magneto, a character who died in Ultimatum. And then we see Apocalypse, who shouldn't be here because he's dead. Yeah, it's kind of a weird, kind of an oddish storyline. But this basically wraps up when it comes to Ultimate Comics X-Men, the run by Nick Spencer, because right afterwards, Brian Wood basically takes over the rest of the series. I do have the first trade that collects this run. I will review that in a future Comic Corner. Will be the next one? No. Not particularly per se. That will actually be... that will be 2 episodes from now. That basically I'm going to review the start of Brian Wood's run for the book. That starts with issue 18.1 and wraps up with issue 33. I say 33 because that's the weird thing about this book, is that Ultimate Comics X-Men is actually the longest book. It produced more issues than even Ultimate Spider-Man. That produced 28 issues. Yep. So in case you're curious though, how many more trades of the go for Ultimate Comics X-Men? I'd say about 3 left. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd definitely say so. It could be at least 2. Mm-hmm. So, okay. I think next trade might be the last trade to discuss, because I've already discussed volumes 2 and 3 already. Yeah, I'm thinking that okay, so yeah, so I think in the case of the very next book we discuss, the first trade for Brian Wood's run, that will actually be my final book to discuss, aside from Cataclysm Ultimate's Last Stand. Aside from that trade, like for the main series itself, that would be the last one to discuss, because that's really all it's left to discuss for that one. Mm-hmm. Yes. In the case of the 2 spin-off books, like Ultimate Comics Ultimates, now Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, that's done. That is completely 100% done. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, there's nothing really much left to go for that series. Yeah, I reviewed that one already. So in the case of what book is left from this era, it's probably just Ultimate Comics Ultimates. And that's got 2 trades left. Yep, because I reviewed the first 2 trades, the crossover they had, but I got to review the Sam Humphries book. Yep, once we do the Sam Humphries run, that's pretty much it. Yeah, but in the case of X-Men, here's the weird thing when it comes to Ultimate Comics X-Men. I've already reviewed Ultimate X-Men already, which I've got that done. So you're probably thinking, okay, what is there left to go for this universe for the X-Men? Well, to my knowledge, I think like the only thing left to go, that's X-Men related. Well, aside from this book here, it's just Ultimate Comics Wolverine, just a couple Wolverine books. Yeah, surprisingly, that's all really left, just two Wolverine books. Yeah, just Ultimate Comics Wolverine, which focuses on Jimmy Hudson, and the verse miniseries of Hulk versus Wolverine. And that's pretty much it, but they kiss the X-Men group themselves for the Ultimate Universe overall. Well, once I review Ultimate Comics by Brian Wood for Volume 1, that is pretty much it when it comes to books for the X-Men universe, because, well, if you think about it, because first you have Ultimate Comics X-Men, Ultimate X-Men, you have Ultimate War, X slash Ultimate X slash F. You have X. There's also, well, this book obviously, and that miniseries Cataclysm Ultimate X-Men. That'll probably be my last one to discuss. But I've discussed, as of right now, most of the Ultimate X-Men comic books. Well, the Ultimate version anyways. Yes. Now you might be curious though, do we have any debuts in these issues? I don't think so. Yeah, let me check and see. Like, is there any like special debuts of any characters in these issues aside from having a false version of some characters? It's mostly a bit of standalone stuff here. Yeah, there's no major deaths per se in these issues. Okay, so we do see the first appearance of Major John Walker, who, yeah, he makes first appearance issues, and he is only here for just these issues, and that's it for him. Yep, it was also Colonel Lake. And he's there for 2 issues until he's killed by Colossus. Yeah, he killed him by basically crushing his freaking skull. There's also a character, Andrea Marnos. I believe he's supposed to be like a version of the Armadillo. Let's see. I mean, appearance-wise, it looks like the Armadillo from basically regular continuity. Yep. We have an agent named Jensen. Of course, this place called Camp Angel. Yeah, you could say that basically that. Well, there's also Strong Guy. Yeah, Strong Guy makes his debut. Yeah, the old version of Strong Guy makes his debut in the storyline. Yep. A character associated with Fantastic Four. Well, the Fantastic Four, the X Factor. Mm-hmm. We see return of James William Stryker Jr. And we do see a return of the Raxon Corporation, which apparently was the first members of Kenny. So Ted and Patricia. Mostly you see a return of Mr. Sinister until he gets killed off in Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies for some reason. I'm not sure why that apparently killed him off. But the old version of Lana Miller, yeah, they bring her back in here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, aside appearing in one issue of Ultimate Comics X-Men, she mostly just popped up on Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, and that was it. I've discussed pretty much pretty much a little appearance, so there's not really much to this character at all. Not really, no. Yeah, it's kind of weird though for the issues. Like, okay, so you have 2 Quicksilver issues, and a lot of the issues focus on Camp Angel. It's more like you can say this is building return of the X-Men in the Ultimate Universe, mostly anyway. That's mostly you can say what describe what happened in these issues. Yep, but that's not really much to say about these issues. They're good. Just, well, got one more to discuss, and then that's it for this series. Because apparently I have discussed volumes 2 and 3 for Brian Wood's run. You're probably thinking, really? When did that happen? Well, that actually happened 6 years ago. At my old house. It was episode 234. Why the heck that wait so long to do the rest of this run? If you're going to ask, I have no idea. I have no earthly idea of why I waited so long. Yeah, I don't have an answer to that. I just really, really don't. Okay, so that's episode review. Stay tuned for more reviews for my comic corners and Flashman tomorrow. And probably I will get time to do Overlord tomorrow. Okay, next video. Bye.